What fucked up thing did you do as a kid? I thought it would be a great practical joke to bury a corn holder, small handle with two sharp prongs to hold corn on the cob, pointy side up in my yard and wait for someone to step on it, of course. Being a kid after all. I lost interest after a time and forgot. Sometime later in the summer. While walking barefoot. Yes, I stepped on it. Fuck, that hurt. Learned a valuable lesson about practical jokes. I was 12 and tried searching everywhere for porn of children of my age because I didn't like looking at adults. Boy, was I stupid. When I was 6 or so, I convinced the girl who lived next door, who was intellectually disabled and a couple years older, that I had built a robot clone of myself. I would go inside and come back out acting like a robot, complete with glitchy speech and movement. Then when I got tired of pretending to be a robot, I would tell her I needed to recharge and switch back. When I was 11, my friend and I soaked a tennis ball in gasoline and lit it on fire, and with gloves on tossed it around with my friend, just cause. Ended up throwing it to him in an arc and he missed and it slid down his chest, leaving a on fire gasoline trail on his shirt. Had first-degree burns and we really got in trouble for that one. Gave my little brother X-Lax and told him it was chocolate when we were under 10. I knew it would give him diarrhea, but I didn't know how badly. It was fucked up. I tried to poison my mom's boyfriend. I was probably around 11. I had one of those science kits from the Scholastic Book Fair. I took the citric acid and dumped the whole container into his drink. He sipped it and just said, "This tastes like shit," and dumped it out, lol. In 7th grade, my best friend asked me if I would go and ask the boy she liked if he liked her and if he would go out with her. I went over and asked him if he liked her. He said no. Then I asked if he liked me. He said yes. And then I asked him to be my boyfriend. He said yes. Then I went right back to my friend and told her that he didn't like her, but that he liked me and was now my boyfriend. I don't know why I did that. Friends and I would hang out on a side street with a 1-gallon gas can and a lighter. When we saw a car coming, one of us would run across the street while pouring gas and the other friend would light the gas after he was clear. I was pretty young when this happened, maybe 13 years old? I was in a hot tub with my friends and I thought I had to fart. It was not a fart. Pooped in my bathing suit, so I casually grabbed it with my hand and while no one was looking, I dropped it behind the hot tub. Found a dead squirrel. Put it in my Tootsie Roll piggy bank. Kept it under my bed for a while. I thought death was interesting. I was around 8 or so. I flipped off people while going for a walk with my parents when I was 5. I didn't realize that was a bad thing to do. Dropped a rope out of my second-story window. Tied it to a plastic tricycle. Asked my neighbor if he wanted to go for a ride. And lifted him up to the window with the help of my brother and sister. Then we dropped him. And caught the rope before he hit the ground. It was stupid. But none of us had parents responsible enough to watch us or teach us anything. In 7th grade, I lit a poster on fire that was hanging on the basement wall adjacent to my parents' indoor heating oil tank. Eat coins. I made my brother and his friends a jug of Kool-Aid with water from the toilet. I helped a Jewish kid steal a Christmas tree. He complained his family never had a Christmas tree. I still cringe when I remember that I asked my 6th grade teacher what a blowjob was because some older kids kept talking about it. She was cool though and told me. I had a notebook that I proceeded to fill with drawings. Each page was a scene like a comic book. It told the pictorial story of a woman getting pregnant and giving birth with graphic detail. Detail according to my 7-year-old understanding of how birth worked. My cousin and I were like 7-ish or so and playing upstairs in a room by ourselves. My aunt left her sewing machine in there ready to go. We were fascinated by how fast the needle moved up and down when we stepped on the foot pedal. Then we had the idea to see who could get their finger out of the way before the needle started moving. He went. Safe. I went. Safe. He went. Blood shot out and screaming commenced. My older brother pissed me off, so I pissed in a super soaker. When I was in 2nd grade, I said my teacher was stabbing kids with pencils. The others were brought in one at a time and questioned. This did not happen and I remember the teacher fondly and have no idea why I did it. When I was 13, the blizzard of '93 rolled through, holding me captive for 2 weeks indoors with my family. I was lonely, horny and hadn't seen a female in 2 whole weeks. I was dying to get out of the house one day when I had one of the most brilliant ideas. I made my way to the woods behind my house. Climbed down into a gully. In that gully is where I made her. A snow woman. She was amazing. I sculpted her out of snow covering the ground so I could lay on top of her. I gave her some boobs. Some curves and a hole, and for some reason, a smile and 2 rocks for eyes to gaze into. I removed my gloves, unzipped and got busy. When I finished, I brushed myself off and erased her. Climbed out of the gully, through the woods and back inside to my room and listened to counting crows for an hour or so. I used to have a couple bullies in the first grade. One day they decided it would be a good idea to strap me to a bench and strip me. So you know what I did? I shit my pants right then and there. They never bothered me again. I would make animal tails out of paper, tape them to my butt, then pretend I was said animal and run around on all fours, making animal noises. I did not turn out to be a furry, however. Once when pretending to be a ring-tailed lemur I pranced straight into a closed glass patio door. Maybe that smacked the furry out of me. Pooped my pants when I was like 5. Didn't want to tell anyone. So I dropped it in the heater duct in my room. House got sold and we moved away not long after. Unrelated. I put countless rocks on the train tracks in hopes of derailing it, filled a super soaker with rubbing alcohol and sprayed fire. When I was 8, I stole my father's nickel collection and spent it on penny candy. My friend and I ripped and stole pages out of a neighbor's Cosmo that had pictures of boobs. I think it might have been for breast self-exams? We were 10-year-old girls at the time and got totally busted by my parents. That same friend and I got into a different neighbor's trash bags after Thanksgiving and decided to sample some of their leftovers. What the actual fuck? Kids are so strange. Went to the cinema dressed as a ninja for attention. My parents used to my peel apples because kids can have trouble swallowing and chewing the skin. I was upset I wasn't allowed it, and when they weren't looking I took the skin out of the garbage and ate it. Around kindergarten age I put my willy underneath a teddy bear, in front of everyone, and said, "Look, the teddy bear has a penis." A young comedian. I was once pissed on a kid through a chain link fence while my friends and I were chatting with him and his brother. I took a dump in a plastic bag and hid it in my closet for reasons. Also used to stick my wang out between the curtains of my bedroom window after bedtime when I first started getting boners because the risk of being seen was thrilling. I lived on a busy street. Guess I was a born exhibitionist. As a teenager I used to stick my dick in the bath drain while the water drained out. Ya know. For the suction feeling. Edit. For those asking how. Upward facing dog yoga pose. Edit 2. To answer a few more questions. 1. No. I didn't contract any diseases. 2. The length of my member is average length in its solid state. 3. There was a grate in the hole. So my dick didn't actually go down the drain. The vortex of the draining water created the SUCC. 4. From what a couple of plumber redditors have noted, what I did was fucking gross. On 1991, after seeing Mike Tyson getting arrested on the news, I asked my dad what rape was, and he told me it meant hurting a girl. So you can picture 7 to 8-year-old me running to the teacher to say stuff like, "Teacher, come, Jack, John and George are raping Molly on the playground," or threatening my classmates with rape if they were annoying me, boys included. 'Cause I thought this way I was also insulting them by calling them girls. Edit. The final straw for the teacher was when 2 kids on my classroom were fighting and I teased one of them with a sarcastic tone. "Oh, poor you. You don't like getting raped?" The teacher ran towards me. Like, "What did you just say?" So I explained to her. Still teasing him. "Well, Ms. Sarah, he's like a girl. So we rape him instead of hitting him." When I was in first grade a girl wouldn't let me in her club. So the next morning our teacher took away her sunglasses because she was wearing them during class. During recess I snuck into the classroom and placed the sunglasses in the girl's desk. Then I told the teacher when we got back that I saw her take her sunglasses back during recess. My teacher believed me. The girl denied it. The teacher pushed down her desk and the sunglasses were there. She got in trouble for not only stealing but for lying about it. No one ever found out it was me all along. And that is just one story of why I am going to hell. When I was probably 10, I practiced my golf swing on 20 to 30 toads in my driveway. I am over 50 now and think about it often. Growing up in the 80s, every time I swore my parents threatened to wash my mouth out with a bar of soap. I got tired of hearing it, so the next time they made the threat I went to the bathroom, came back with a bar of soap and with a smile on my face proceeded to scrub my mouth with it. Can't make it a punishment if I enjoy it. I put liquid soap on my siblings' toothbrushes for April Fools because I read about it as a prank somewhere. I took my holidays very seriously. My friend and I hid underneath the desk during a fire drill in 2nd grade. We both got an F for conduct that day. My mom was pissed. I don't know if it would be considered fucked up, but my brother and I made homemade darts drum push pins. The pins used to hold dress shirts at stores. and would throw them at each other. They would stick in our skin and wiggle and we would laugh our asses off. My stepmom was abusive to me, so when she'd fall asleep I'd say mean things to her hoping she'd hear it in her dreams. More stupid than fucked up. Threw 2 big bags of hamster bedding through my fan and acted like a news forecaster and acted like it was snowing and parents woke up to my room being covered in over an inch of bedding. Needless to say I didn't own the hamster anymore. In 8th grade. In the fall season. My friends and I were hanging out in this tunnel. It was filled with dry leaves. As we sat on the walls of the tunnel shooting the shit, I was mindlessly throwing matches into the leaves. I had this weird obsession with fire since I was really young. I was spacing out just staring at the little flames until my friend grabbed me and pointed out how fast it was spreading. We started stomping on the leaves and the fire just kept rapidly spreading. We looked at the openings of the tunnel and black smoke was just pluming out of both ends. A few other things happened after that, but it ended with my friends and I running away. The way our neighborhood worked. We could see the tunnel from my friend's house without being seen by anyone else. The tunnel had a massive flame coming out of both ends. I can't believe how bad the fire was. But it was in a remote area. There wasn't anything close to it that it could burn down. Not justifying what I did. Because it was extremely reckless. Dangerous and destructive. But all things considered it was pretty harmless and luckily I never got caught. Threw bullets into a campfire. We were sitting around to see what would happen. My sister and I would ask our friends a question. If they answered wrong we would be like, "You dumbass donkey," and ride the person while making donkey noises saying, "Walk, donkey, you stupid ass," and so on. A friend once said New York was the capital of the states and we fucking rode him for half an hour. Edit. We did thus from age 6 to around 13. We would not ask the donkey. It was more of a tackle situation. Yes, I did grow up to be into BDSM. When I was little I'd ask for a bowl of ice cream and wait for it to melt, then dunk my big toe in it and suck it off my toe.